You wake up, follow your routine, and make choices that you believe are entirely your own. We all navigate our days under the strict baseline assumption that we possess total autonomy over our actions. But then you notice a persistent phantom weight pulling at your limbs. You find yourself rehashing the exact same arguments, or consistently falling for the same toxic relationship archetypes. You might recognize the specific tendency to sabotage your own hard-fought progress, usually right as the summit finally comes into view. These repeated patterns reveal a harsh reality. You are not the master of your own house. An invisible architecture is actively steering your worst moments. The Swiss psychiatrist Carl Jung observed that until you make the unconscious mind conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate. Jung called this the shadow, built by your psyche to lock away the undesirable parts of yourself you refuse to acknowledge. Because it operates entirely out of sight, we rarely recognize its grip. When it derails our plans, we mislabel it as bad luck. This establishes the core struggle of modern life. We are puppets suffering under the delusion that we are the puppeteers. The process starts with repression. We routinely take our envy, our sudden flashes of rage, and our deepest insecurities and shove them down into the basement of our minds. We do this because of a central fallacy. We assume that if we bury these traits deep enough, they will die. We treat the unconscious like a sterile tomb. But that basement is actually a nursery. Down there in the dark, those repressed traits incubate, grow distorted, and become intensely hungry. Eventually, they outgrow their container. They violently burst out of the unconscious, ruining our relationships and destroying our peace of mind. Ignoring your own darkness does not destroy it. It only arms it, guaranteeing that it will eventually take over the host. Breaking this cycle requires a synthesis of depth psychology and ancient philosophy, starting with the Roman Emperor Marcus Aurelius. Aurelius taught that everything we hear is an opinion, not a fact, and everything we see is a perspective, not absolute truth. To reclaim your agency, you must apply that exact principle inward. You must become a detached observer of your own internal emotional chaos. This means looking at your darkest impulses without an ounce of self-judgment. You assess them with the cold, clinical eye of a Stoic general surveying a battlefield. Objective identification is the mechanism of neutralization. When you clearly name the shadow, it loses the anonymity it needs to haunt you. Observation is merely a prelude to mastery. Identifying the shadow is different from mastering it. The psychiatrist Viktor Frankl, whose theories were forged in the darkness of concentration camps, discovered what comes next. Frankl realized that the final human freedom is the ability to choose one's attitude in any given set of circumstances. Wholeness is the ultimate objective of integration. You are reclaiming your totality, setting aside the simpler pursuit of being good. True freedom comes when you take the raw, primal energy of your repressed traits and actively redirect it toward a purposeful will to meaning. The person who intimately knows their own darkness ceases to be its victim. You become like a diver who has learned to breathe underwater. The environment that would suffocate someone else transforms into your personal domain of discovery. You must willingly walk past the safely curated personas you show the world and explore the dust-covered, neglected archives of your own soul. The very things you fear most about yourself contain the specific instructions for your eventual freedom. The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts. Ensure yours are not merely the shadows cast by a light you refuse to face.